I don't know what kind of soldier I'm going to make, but I want you guys to know that if we ever get into real heavy combat, I'll be right behind you guys every step of the way.
Welcome to the Kindness Chronicles, where once again we hope to inject the world with a dose of the Minnesota kindness that it desperately needs. Why? Oh, that's right. You're a rock star. You have to do that. Put the mic near your mouth.
Oh, I just do that. Sorry.
Okay. I know you and Michael Dempsey are going to be doing like Steven Tyler and someone else.
No, like Bruce and Little Steven.
Bruce and Little Steven, yes.
Yeah, when they share the mic, we look exactly like him.
Everybody's got a hungry heart.
You brought the breath mints?
Yeah, I've always been concerned about that. Jeff is here. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Happy Thanksgiving, boys. We have
Great to be
special
back.
guests we're going to get to in a moment. I just would like to start with a happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope you guys had a great time.
It was amazing. Great Thanksgiving. Great Thanksgiving.
Yes, awesome. A little cold, but loved it. Loved getting together with everybody.
Did the meal, Michael, I know that you spent a lot of time in the kitchen. Did you spatchcock your bird?
I didn't.
I love saying spatchcock
yeah, I
for
like
some reason.
saying it as well. I saw a lot of people doing the spatchcock, but I didn't go there.
We did one of them spatchcock
Oh,
this
you did?
year.
This
I
year?
didn't. My kids did,
And was it?
It turned out fantastic.
Yeah, that's
it was
great.
really good.
Yeah, no.
But I've decided I don't like turkey. Too gamey.
But oh my God,
Gamey.
Too gamey. Yeah,
I don't
it's
know if
like-
I'd say gamey, but you're not alone. There's many people who don't like turkey, but they don't.
I had a lot of
complain.
carbs. Ate a lot of carbs.
You got the starches in?
Yeah, except I didn't do the carb loading. What do you run after you eat all those carbs? Not me. I went and took a nap.
I love the turkey. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, well, you know what? You're a very protein-friendly kind of a guy.
I guess.
Uh-huh.
I love the starches too, though.
I might be becoming vegan.
Oh, wow.
Probably not.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Except for like a good steak every once in a while. So I have a fun story to tell you, and this is going back to, remember when we visited with Dan Bourne from Helen's Pink Sky Foundation?
Yes.
So I was at the Gopher football game on Saturday, and Dan was there with his son George. And George is this 6-year-old first grader. And I immediately fell for this little guy. He was hilarious. For starters, they have all kinds of food in the suite. Yes, I was in the suite, of course, where I should be.
No surprise.
But they had this great spread of food. And George comes down, and he's got a bowl full of M&Ms, peanut M&Ms, and Sour Patch Kids.
That sounds like a meal for a 6-year-old.
So as he's
That's what you
eating
want.
the peanut M&Ms, he would eat the chocolate off of the peanut and leave the peanuts in there. So let's just say George consumed a little bit of sugar while we were there. And every time Dan would start telling a story, George would say, "Let me tell this, Dad." And I think he was kind of saying, "Is this a long story?" And he would tell these stories with such great detail. It was absolutely the highlight of the football game.
Dan said he was a sweet kid.
Oh,
He
my
said he
God.
was a special kid. He sounds like it, huh?
He is a sharp little guy, smart as a whip. But my favorite part was I thought, okay, I'm going to get this kid in trouble in school on Monday. And I said to him, "Hey, who's the cutest girl in your first grade?" And, usually kids won't answer that question. He had an immediate answer. So this guy gets it.
Do you have a name?
We're not going to put out the name.
Okay.
But
What'd you say to this 6-year-old boy about
I
the
said,
cute girl in
here's
his
what
class?
you need to do. When you see her on Monday, I want you to go up to her and go, just very politely, hubba hubba. And he thought that was fantastic. So I haven't heard yet how it's gone at school. He's probably been in the principal's office
Yeah,
a
he's
couple
probably
times.
in trouble.
But, it's kind of a harmless, at some point you got to figure out how to hit on the girls, right? In a polite way. I think
No, I agree with you, but did you consider that maybe the name he gave you was the teacher?
a hubba hubba.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
I mean,
hot
what-
for teacher.
Yeah, I guess so. A hubba hubba to the teacher. I'm
Anyways, I just, if you're listening, George, I'm a big fan. I can't wait till we can hang out again. Dan, you can come along as long as your stories aren't too long. That would be fantastic. What you've got some information for today's show?
Yeah, I was going to tell a story. I'm not going to.
No, tell it.
Well,
Is it a long story?
No, it just relates. I kind of blew out, messed with the flow here. But I was going to say, when my daughter was 5, my daughter Lucinda, we got a note from her school that says she was chasing the boys around and calling them hot lips.
Oh, no.
We saved that note because it was the funniest note we've ever seen. Like, our daughter, her and her friend were doing that, and they didn't know that it was like, a little...
Calling them hot lips. Was there like an episode of MASH on or something?
I don't know. I don't know where they got that from. Yeah, Hot Lips Houlihan. I thought that was quite funny. That's the second time we referred to Hot Lips Houlihan on this program.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, we have a
topic.
I have a topic. We have a topic. So oftentimes we talk about, on OxytoSUNDAY, our goal is to change our algorithms and all the stuff that we look at by looking at and following videos, lines of videos that have reunions of people, of kids, of puppies, of dogs, all that kind of stuff. But also military reunions of all kinds. Surprise the family, relatives, brothers and sisters, and loved ones of all sorts. We love them. And I started digging in a little bit. Why do we love them so much? What is it? It's embarrassing. You're watching them at work. If you see one at work, you get a little misty. Like you feel like a fool. You don't want to let anyone see you. So it's terrible. But they are amazingly,
especially when you've got the rock star eye makeup on and it starts running down your face.
Do you
wear eye makeup on stage?
Why would you ask me that?
You're the rock star. Did you ever
made
wear
it sound
eye
like
makeup?
You had that experience. No. We actually wore eyeliner one time to be funny.
Oh no, guyliner.
Poison.
It was when no one was there. We had a. It's a long story. Anyway, no, we don't wear makeup, John.
Okay.
We're not Kiss. It's not 1970.
No, but I mean, just to
No.
Okay,
Just glam it up a little.
No. Back to the theme of the
topic,
show.
Sorry,
I want to
a
get to our guest here. So I started looking into it. Why do we like this? So the reason why we like them is it hits us in the center of our biology, our psychology, and our humanity, right? So these things touch on instant emotional impact. The videos trigger oxytocin, which is what we already knew about. It's our bonding hormone. There's a mirror emotion effect. Our brains mimic the joy and relief we're watching, so we feel like we're part of the reunion. Also, themes of sacrifice and loyalty. They remind us of what military families endure: distance, uncertainty, and emotional toughness. Pure expressions of love. Kids sprinting to their parents, parents crying, dogs losing their minds, unfiltered, genuine affection. It's amazing, right? Constant daily negativity. It also reminds us that the world is a good place and there's true connection with people. So there's many other reasons, but these things make us better, and they give us momentary faith in humanity, and we love them, and they're actually helping us chemically with the oxytocin. So we thought this is a perfect instance to kind of continue our Veterans Day conversation. We were looking to get this guest with us, but I'm going to have Michael introduce this special guest that's sitting down here in the studio with us today. So
lovely.
And then we'll get into all this conversation with him.
All right.
That's great. I couldn't be happier to introduce the special guest. This special guest is got a lot of experience in the military. This special guest grew up on the mean streets of Little Falls, Minnesota, and I'm talking mean streets.
The West Side. The hood.
I'm talking West Side, all gravel roads. This is an accomplished grade school athlete. I mean, he's accomplished grade school athlete, nominated many times for the coveted McPlayer of the Week award for his baseball prowess. Won it one time. He took those skills into high school, and in all seriousness, captained many varsity teams. His senior year, he actually was voted the athlete of the class, the athlete of the year, the male athlete of the year, which is amazing. And if that wasn't enough, he decided between his junior and senior year, when most people are having fun and just scraping together some cash mowing lawns, he said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to join the military.
Wow.
And between junior and senior year, he headed off to basic training.
Wow.
And since that time, I'm proud to introduce a guy near and dear to my heart, someone I've spent a lot of time with, whether he likes it or not. My brother, Command Sergeant Major Mark Dempsey. Welcome to the podcast, Mark. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Wow.
like
listen
that.
to that.
Thanks,
Wow.
everybody.
Thanks,
It's a
everybody.
live audience down here.
So
Welcome, Mark.
I didn't realize that you were, athlete. Little Falls, how many in your graduating class? 7?
No, about 300.
What?
Yeah. When we
So
were
the athlete out of 300.
350, 320 in that neighborhood, yeah.
Before we get into the military stuff, what sports did you play?
I was a football player, a wrestler, and I was a pole vaulter in track.
Pole vaulter.
Yep.
Now, we had an episode where we talked about the fact that I told my daughter's friends that I was a pole vaulter. And they looked at me and they thought, I don't know if I buy that.
Maybe shot put?
I was a shot put
I know
guy.
you were.
I was shot put and discus.
We were on the
sucked at
track
discus.
team at the same time.
That's exactly right. You were more of an athlete. I was a thrower, which usually, but pole vault.
Yeah, we both did it.
We both pole vaulted.
Yeah. I could watch pole vault videos too. When they jump and then the pole. Well, let's not talk about.
I don't think
that.
they bring you quite the oxytocin. I would.
No, it brings
Yeah.
a different
Just a
emotion.
little-
yeah,
yeah.
kind of a cringy emotion. Well, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Where did you do your basic training?
Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Fort Dixon, New Jersey.
We were the last group to go through Fort Dix before they shut it down.
Okay.
Yep.
And where do they go now? Like Fort Benning?
Fort Benning, Fort Leonardwood, Missouri,
Okay.
Fort Jackson. There's a few different places.
But you've obviously turned this into a career.
Yeah,
So how did you, for starters, Command Sergeant Major has got the 3 up, 3 down, and then a little something in the middle.
a little star with wreaths around the star.
Okay.
Yep.
There aren't many of those.
Boy, I just got accepted to be the Division Command Sergeant Major.
Okay.
And there's 8 of us,
There and how? So,
Eight in the entire country.
8 in the country.
jeez.
8 division. It can.
And you're related to Michael Dempsey? I guess our
boy.
yeah. This is the Kindness Chronicles.
Hey, let's go easy.
Let's go. So, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you.
So, what would you say you do as a Command Sergeant Major?
So many things. I think the biggest thing I do is just ensure that all the soldiers within the organization have everything they need to succeed, be ready to go do missions overseas or, as we saw a few years ago, stateside.
Okay.
I just really help to make sure that all soldiers have what they need and they're ready to go whenever the call comes.
That's terrific. And you're here in Minnesota?
Yep, I'm stationed. So I work full time in St. Paul, Monday through Friday,
Yep.
and then my division job is in Arden Hills.
Oh, really? At the old whatchamacallit plant.
Yes, we're on that complex.
You're on that complex. That was going to be the Viking Stadium.
Yep,
Yeah.
the
At one
ammunition
point.
plant.
That's right. And before
They
that,
had
it was
toxic
Blaine.
waste and stuff there. You had a little bit of a glow when you came downstairs.
I have spent a lot of time out there.
Okay. Don't drink the water.
I'm just going to throw this out. This question for you, Command Sergeant Major. Your Command Sergeant Major, Division Command Sergeant Major, that was actually effective yesterday.
Yep.
And we're talking
Wow.
about, 10,000 troops,
Upwards to 20.
20,000 soldiers that you have to ensure are getting the train. You're just in charge of everything that they need to do to be successful.
It's kind of weird because we have multiple states where we have soldiers. We really focus on Minnesota soldiers. 10,000 here in the state of Minnesota. If we were to have to go do a mission that the whole division was called upon, that's where all the states would come together, and then we would proceed to go where we're asked to go. So I don't see all the soldiers. We'll get out.
It's a lot of soldiers.
Yeah, me and my boss will go. And
So who is your boss? What role? What rank do they have?
He's a general.
He's a general.
Yep,
Okay.
he's a general.
And who's the general?
His name is Joe Sharkey.
Okay.
General Joe Sharkey.
Like, was Gene Andreotti? Is that a name you're familiar with?
yeah, he
He was the adjutant general.
Yeah. right when I got in.
Okay.
Is he
Is he still around?
He is still around.
Yeah.
He was mid 90s.
Yeah. How about Denny Schulstead? Do you know that name?
I don't know that
Okay.
one.
How do you know these people, John?
Well, I know people.
I guess.
So Gene Andreotti was the adjutant general, but like you said, back in the 90s, and he served on a board that and he's just a really good guy. So you've been in the military since high school then?
Yep, I'll hit 35 years in March.
Holy smokes. That's impressive.
Yep.
And we're obviously here. The theme is reunions, and what's interesting
Getting us
is
back on track.
well,
Sorry.
I'm just saying, you go in when it's the early '90s, and a lot of people are going in because they want to pay for college, and they're rolling the dice, and then all of a sudden, 9/11 happens, and you roll craps, and all of a sudden it's not just paying for college anymore. All of a sudden you're getting deployed, because I think the National Guard is 60% of the military force.
Roughly.
Yeah. So we think, it's always the active duty army. It's not. National Guard reserves make up 60%. And so Command Sergeant Major Dempsey, you weren't always a Command Sergeant Major way back in the early 2000s. I think that was your first deployment, right? To talk about reunions, just to get back to that.
2005 was my first deployment. We had to. It was kind of a new war for us. We were National Guard people. We weren't used to, what we were about to do. So we ended up having to go to Camp Shelby, Mississippi for 6 months to train, and it was right after Katrina had hit. So when we got down there, it was 2 weeks later. Everything was destroyed, tarps. But we spent 6 months getting ready to go. And then we deployed. We were in Iraq. We had spent a year there. They're usually about a year.
Okay.
And we were packing up, getting ready to come home, getting excited for the reunions. And I received a call from back home. I was getting yelled at 7 a.m. And it was my
Was it my wife?
It was my ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
Going, when the hell were you going to tell me? And I was in my office. We're in a motor pool. It's dirty. It's in a tent. And what are you talking about? Well, we hadn't heard. But the news had come out in Minnesota that we were being extended another 6 months.
I remember that.
Yeah.
This isn't the Red Bulls, is
Yes,
it? This
yes.
is the Red Bulls.
Yes. That's the division I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like John Creasel. Did you know John?
Yep. I knew John. He was up north from where I was at.
Okay.
Some good friends of mine were up there with him. But yeah, it turned into a day short of 23 months being gone
Holy
from home.
smokes.
Yeah. So, and it's funny, all 3 of my deployments, we've been extended.
Well, they must like you.
Yeah.
If you sucked, they would have sent you home.
Yeah. So that first one, 22 months. I mean, 2 years.
So I just imagine this.
Yeah.
22 months, and at the time you had children.
Yeah, my daughter, my oldest daughter, she was 6 weeks when I left.
Oh, my stars.
And my sons were 4 and 5, 5 and 6.
Wow.
So
You talk about sacrifice. And I'm not making light of this, but I feel like when I go away for 3 or 4 days when I had kids, it's remarkable. Not only the sacrifice are you making, but the sacrifice that all those people are making, which makes the whole concept of a reunion even that much more just amplified. My gosh.
Yeah. So, Mark, you had 3 deployments. Were they all, where were they all? Same place? Or?
No, my first one, we were in Iraq exclusively. My second one, spent most of my time in Kuwait. Went up to Iraq once or twice. And then my third one, my most recent one, Kuwait, Iraq, Syria, Turkey. So I kind of was all over the region. We had soldiers throughout. So my boss and I at that time would every month go out. And we did for the first couple months. And then we had some issues where Yeah, it wasn't a good issue. But then my boss and I would then go 1 month. He would go 1 month. I'd go in case something really went down.
He talks about going to Iraq like we talk about going to St. Cloud. It's a very different.
It's kind of like going to Wisconsin,
Yeah.
Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia.
It's crazy to think about. We were talking on the way over here that, to your point, John, the minute you leave on a military deployment, all you think about is getting home. That's it. It's how many days before I can get home. And that's sort of this top of mind for so many soldiers. Like I just want to get home.
But isn't there something to, like, my understanding of the people that I know that have served, there's something about that brotherhood that you have that as much as you want to get home, you really do kind of make the most of the time that you are with the guys and the gals that you're with.
And going to your point, that's when you come home, that's a struggle because you've been with all these people 24 hours. I mean, you were with them in the worst situations.
I can relate because I had a band and we traveled on the road and I just sleep next to all these band members.
That's different.
It's almost the same,
Steve.
though.
Almost.
Okay,
a brotherhood.
but in a small way, I understand.
But yeah, you just spend all your waking time for 22 months with the same group of people. So when you get home, they're kind of your family for 2 years, and then you got to transform back to your actual family.
So I want to ask about that specifically, but just to put it into a timeline so we can understand. From about 2005 to when was the last? When did you return from the last deployment? Approximately, like just as a span of years.
2021.
Wow.
Okay.
So I did 5 to 7, 2011 to 12, and then 19 to 20.
Okay.
Where were you for 19 to 20? That was the
That
Turkey
was
and all that other.
Turkey, Syria, all
That's a
over the
lot of
place.
travel and a lot of time away.
And the thing to underscore here is with each of those deployments, he's a different rank, different level of responsibility, right? So on the last deployment, when Command Sergeant Major, there he is.
Yeah, I don't know where we
talks
get those
about
pictures.
talks about flying around. It's because his span of responsibility is so broad that he's got to get in a helicopter and fly to all of these bases just to make sure the soldiers are all right, because he's at a different level. And that's the other thing. It just raises the complexity.
Well, and that wasn't a hot tub that he was hanging out in there either.
That was the polar plunge in 2010. Yeah,
I don't understand why people do that.
You were raising money, weren't you?
We
Tell
were.
us a
It was-
little about the background.
it was-
Special
given this is
Olympics?
the Kindness Chronicles.
Yeah, it was just
Way to
like,
go back there,
yeah,
Jeff.
it's like what we do here with the polar plunge. We all raised money back home, and that was a big water tub, if you will, that they had filled with ice the day before.
Oh, so that was when you were deployed.
in Kuwait. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That was
And-
probably quite refreshing.
And so
Okay, so on to reunions.
All right. So obviously you've had a lot. You've been gone a lot. You've had come back a lot. So you've seen these, or you've witnessed that. You've been a part of many of them. What do you think when you see these? Like, do you enjoy seeing these reunions as much as we all do? Or it's got to be a different thing for you. But give us a little scoop on what you think of these things.
it was funny when you were talking at first about, what people think and how they feel. I started thinking about mine, and I still get emotional.
Sure.
I'm thinking, I remember exactly each time I came home. I remembered how my twins were when my wife came home, and every time I watch these videos, because I watch them.
So is your wife in the military as well?
She is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level.
Was
Yeah.
there a dog involved in your homecoming?
Yes, there was
Awesome.
actually. Yeah. And
Check.
yeah, I run the gamut. So when I watch the videos, I still get emotional because I know how it feels. I know what they're going through, being gone for so long, and it's just all that emotion
Yeah.
wrapped
Do you,
up.
do you have access to like FaceTime? I mean, do you have the opportunity
Oh,
to
yeah.
face? Okay. So imagine what it was like in World War II. For starters, I have a question about how do you get the mail to the people in World War II? Like, you hear these stories about, writing all these letters, and how do they find these soldiers out in the field? But, I grandparents that left for 4 years. and we're
No
gone
way.
for 4 years.
Amazing
And they came back.
logistics. Yeah.
It's amazing what they do now. But going back to FaceTime, our first deployment, you would have to walk a mile. You didn't have all the gadgets,
Right? Yeah.
but you would have to walk about a mile to go to this big phone booth, and you would wait in line, and you'd have your little calling card, and you'd have to scratch it off.
No kidding.
And you would just pray that when you dialed the number,
Someone was there to answer.
your family was home. And
And that was just a call. There was no visual.
No-
there was no video attached to that.
no video. My second deployment, it got a little better. And then the third deployment was great. I mean,
Because I often think about, oh, look at that guy.
And then the technology started to emerge, and you became a reporter. Is that what I'm looking at here, or what? Tell us a little about this.
we were doing shout outs for, I don't know, the Vikings game, when you go
yeah.
to Veterans Day, and I'm, Sergeant Dempsey from Iraq, go Vikings. I didn't like doing them, but,
that was good, kind of my question. Sometimes it feels very like, oh my God, why are we
Staged.
doing this?
Or produced? You mean?
That's what it was, because they give you a script. You have to read the script. You can't go off cue, and everybody reads the same thing.
And then did they back it up with Christina Perry, 1,000 Years? Because that seems to be the.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, but every
Can you imagine?
video now has that.
This is what it would be. This is Private Schweiss. This place sucks. Get me out of here. I'm thirsty.
He's off script. He's off script.
Off script. God.
Sir, please go to the phone booth. So
And it would be Private Schweiss for sure.
But getting back to you, yeah, it's the emotion of just being gone.
especially for that first one where you didn't see your kids. Like I can't imagine. I would go for trips for work in the past, and I'd be gone. I did travel overseas, but you come back after 2 weeks or whatever. That and that connection with my kids again was amazing. So I can't imagine being gone for 2 years.
So your
they
daughter-
look different. Everything's changed, right?
Yeah, my daughter was, this big, and then when I got back, she was walking, talking,
Holy
and
smokes.
so I had missed, the crawling, the rolling, the walking, she was a little girl, a little kid.
Wow.
So okay, so you get these awesome reunions and that connection with your family. You get to see them eye to eye. You get to hold them. You get to hug them. That's got to be amazing. But what happens after that?
Well, and that's
How
what
does that go?
That's what Uncle Mike. I'm sorry, Michael. I call him Uncle Mike. He calls me Uncle Mark. That was the tough thing.
They call me Creepy Uncle John. I don't know why that
It's
is.
a callback from our
Sorry.
Thanksgiving episode when we said, and when Uncle John comes in and says things inappropriate, and then that's when you said, I'm Uncle John.
Yeah, I am Creepy Uncle
That's
John.
right. Anyway,
Sorry.
go ahead.
But the reunion with the kids is pretty easy. That it was with like my last two, it was a struggle with my spouse. That was the tough reunion. She took care of the house, she took care of the yard, she just did everything, and I'm kind of the doer in the house. So I wanted to come in and do everything and put rules down for the kids, and it was a struggle. It was a struggle coming home on my when I came home for my second deployment. My twins were 6 months old. I came home for the birth, and then I had to go back for 5 months.
Wow.
So my wife had to take care of the twins, so it was the spouses is the toughest part about a reunion, because I mean, you got to learn how to be husband and wife again. You got to learn how to hug, how to kiss, be intimate, the chores, just everything. You got to relearn it again. And that's the real struggle that reunions are, is I think.
I'm assuming that there are statistics that compare, like, the average number of divorces that happen just in the regular population as compared to the military. I mean, military divorces have got to be off the charts.
I've always wondered after that 22-month deployment, how
many
many, because most of the people that I was close to, all have been divorced.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And it's crazy because I was a lot different when I came home. She was a lot different when she came
You
home.
bet.
And you just, 2 years, you grow apart and you find somebody else.
Well, yeah, I think you touched on it too. Just your wife was independent. She had done everything. Now you're there, and you haven't grown organically in those roles like you do when you're together all the time. Now you're not working. You're not doing anything. You're just now there, looking for what you're supposed to be doing. I can't imagine how uncomfortable that would be.
Well, and it's hard because of my last deployment, I was in charge of a lot of people. I put out the rules, the guidance, and all that. You come home and I was below the dog again.
Right.
It was wife, kids, dog, me. And my wife told me, she goes, just remember when you come home, you're not the sergeant major anymore. You're down
Man.
here. This is where you're at again.
Wow.
All joking aside, but
That's a legit thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you, the fact that both you and your wife are in the military, does that make it easier or harder? Because, part of you would think, well, we both have an understanding of how this is, but
Maybe
the fact
there's
that
some
you're both
empathy there.
doing it.
Yeah.
I think the easy part is we know what each other's doing, where we're at.
Sure.
But it's horrible. It's still, I mean, put the military aside. I mean, it's still your spouse is gone. Your loved one is gone, and you still worry.
Yeah.
God.
You still worry about anything can happen over in that area of the world, and what
And it does.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, I mean, my first deployment, we got hit all the time. And after a while, it became kind of a joke. You just kept playing volleyball as they were coming in. It was like...
There's a great song by John Michael Montgomery called Letters from Home. And I think the video does a really good job of painting what you're describing. Check it out.
Yeah.
I can't play it for obvious
It is a good
copyright
song.
reasons, but yeah, check it out. Michael, go ahead.
Command Sergeant Major Dempsey has a million stories. There is one story, and then I'm going to get to a question. There's one story that on his last deployment, Michelle and I and the girls were in Europe. It was right before Christmas. And I don't know if you remember that. I don't expect you to remember, but we had done some things. We had sort of thrown some bombs, I think, into Iraq or Iran. And it might have been Iran. And Iran said, oh, you're going to do that? Well, we're going to get you back. And they threw some scuds. They forewarned us. But they threw some scuds into some small bases outside of Baghdad.
Oh, this was just recently.
This is in 2018, 2019, 2019, 2019. And they said, hey, we're going to do that. And we knew that Uncle Mark was flying to all of these bases. And what we didn't know was he at that base at that time that happened? And he was.
Yeah.
And so you have this... We're in Europe, sort of vacationing, doing Christmas there, so we're over there. We see this news and we're like, oh my God, is he okay? Right. And that's that. I mean, the stories like that, can you imagine your spouse is gone? It's incredible. But all of that makes the reunion, all of that emotion, all of that, I just want to get home, makes the floodgates open on any reunion that you have. I'm going to ask you this question, Uncle Mark. Understanding all of this, and you're painting just a wonderful picture for all of us who have not been deployed and done all of this. But we back home, we see all of these organizations, all of these nonprofit organizations that are out there to support veterans, to support the families that are home, to support the kids. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those organizations? Because we're inundated with them, and we're like the Blue Line, for instance, is an organization.
The United Heroes League.
Yes.
It used to be called Defending the Blue Line. Shane Hudalla.
Yeah. That's an example of, if you're not in the military, if you don't sort of have this experience, you're like, oh, that's just a nonprofit. But tell us about that organization and a few others that really do help when you come back.
Minnesota does a great job on before you leave. They get you and your families together for a day or two, and they have classes. And Minnesota's got a ton of resources. I mean, the big one in Minnesota is called Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program. You hear a lot of these communities are Beyond the Yellow Ribbon program. Chuck Haas and Hugo, phenomenal. But all these organizations are at all of these events, and you go up to each of their tables, and if you need help with your furnace, call this group. If your car breaks down, call this group.
Really?
Wow.
Okay.
And so anything that you need, somebody will take care of you. Now, a lot of people have a lot of pride. They hate reaching out, but I've seen so many families, my car broke down. I need $1,000. And, the Minnesota Appreciation Fund, here's $1,000. Go fix your car. When you get home, they have a lot of counselors. They have a lot of counselors and all the people that are there to help you acclimate back in as a family,
which
as
is
an
really,
individual.
it's very interesting. I am far more familiar with the veteran organizations that help people when they get back. The people that are dealing with homelessness, like MACV, Minnesota Assistant Council for Veterans. There's a place up in Sauk Center called Eagles Healing Nest. I don't know if you're familiar with them. We've had them.
Yeah, we had them
We've
on.
had them both on the podcast. But I guess I didn't realize that there were, organizations that were preparing families and taking care of families while, that just warms my heart.
Yeah, they're where I work in St. Paul. There's just a family services wing that you reach out with anything you need, and within an hour you're in contact.
No kidding.
Yeah,
That, you know what? That makes me feel much better about things going on.
Well, I started to mention it, but things that you don't even think about. And again, I just want to go back to the defending the blue line. Your kids, they still are active. They still want to play sports. They still want to be involved, right? Well, they need rides. They need equipment. And there are organizations out there that are even filling that niche. And the Defending the Blue Line was one of those, right?
Yeah, United Heroes League outfitted my kids with all the hockey gear. Hockey's expensive.
Yeah.
But this former soldier started a nonprofit. He used to call it Defending the Blue Line. Now it's the United Heroes League.
And that's the Hudella?
Yeah, Shane Hudella. It's down in Hastings, and he's got a huge complex now. They're doing what's the winter Minnesota?
Oh, the Winter Classic,
The hockey thing?
the
Yeah.
hockey thing.
Oh,
Hockey Day in Minnesota.
Hockey Day in Minnesota's in Hastings this year?
is going to be on his complex.
Wow.
How about,
KG will be there.
Oh, yeah, he'll be there.
have you heard of Can Do Canines?
Yes, I have.
Okay, they're on the screen there.
Yep,
if you wanted to
I have
make
heard
sure.
that, and
Plug
I've-
for the dogs.
I have some folks that have utilized that service. So yeah,
I love that. The
I-
labs do a great job for
Do you
people.
like dogs?
I do.
Jeff?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
do love
you do
that.
like dogs,
And
don't
I
you?
love when they're involved with military, and I think it's a great symbiotic partnership. There's some great books about that. I think there's one called Till Tuesday or something was about a veteran and a dog and how the veteran sort of lifted him.
It was
or
a
the
band
dog.
in the 80s.
It's Amy Mann's band.
Amy
Yeah,
Mann's
from the
band.
It was, but the dog's name was Tuesday.
Voices
And,
carry.
Okay.
Anyway, it helped lift the soldier out of the depression. So
I thought
yeah,
my
they
dog
do a
was
great
going.
job.
I thought my dog was going to kill me when I came.
Really?
I have a German Shepherd,
Oh.
Ooh.
and
But did it recognize you?
just didn't know what stranger was in the garage with his
Wow.
family.
Yeah, he was
And-
protecting your loved
And
ones.
yeah, and so she kept getting closer and closer, until she could smell me.
Yeah.
And I would talk to her, but her ears went back a little bit.
Yep.
And it was only 5-10 seconds, but she let me know she was there.
Wow.
And, just like you see on the videos, absolutely pummeled
Oh, my
me.
God.
Like I was on the ground and it would not.
the
get-
minute that it recognized.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
realized-
right when you cue the Christina Perry.
Yeah.
Is that the song that I was hearing?
That's the
1,000
song.
years.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's awesome.
but so,
I was surprised. Keep going. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no. And so when you talk about dogs too, I mean, she wouldn't leave me for 3 days. I mean, hated everybody else, and
Oh, isn't that awesome?
slept
John,
on my
you need
side.
a dog.
Yeah.
You do.
You know what? It would probably light me up a
it
little
would
bit.
be nice.
But when she's mean. Mrs. Schweitz is mean and won't let me have a dog.
I don't know. I'm mean too. I don't have a dog either, and I would be considered mean.
There's a great Japanese dog story called Hachi, A Dog's Tale, and I bet that would win her over.
Richard Gere's in that movie, and it
He
makes
is.
my family cry every
It's
time they
so
watch
hard.
it in the Christmas time.
But
Because the
it's-
dog waits for him, even though he's dead. The dog waits for him at the train station. It's a really sad
It is so good though.
This took a
Yeah.
really weird turn.
Why so sad? If you were going to reference a movie though earlier, and I mean this with all sincerity, Saving Private Ryan. Here's the connection with the movie. Tom Hanks is playing. I think he's a reservist or a National Guard guy, and in the movie, it's revealed that he's just a science teacher or a math teacher back, home. He's just this is his service to the country. And just imagine on a 2-year deployment, you're just with, hundreds, if not thousands of people that back home they're the science teacher or the engineer or the mechanic or, that's the group. These aren't people that said, hey, like your nephew who an amazing
He's my
soldier.
cousin. Yep.
Cousin, but a soldier. These are people that are, they do, the 1 weekend a month, and then all of a sudden,
Ultimate
boom,
sacrifice.
You're on a base somewhere, just like Saving Private. Just going, I just want to get home where I can teach, math class. It's incredible to think about, but makes the reunions all that much better. And that's what we're talking about.
This is so great that you're giving us the real look at what reunions are all about. I'm so appreciative that you're able to be here and talk about this. Can you now just getting into kindness, the kindness idea? Do you have an example, by chance, of big or small, a story about some kindness you experienced out there on a deployment with either someone that was with you in your group or just talking about the idea of you're missing home and you're having a hard time? Anything that you can recall, or someone in your group?
We would always go to villages, make sure all the riffraff was out. But one of the people that I worked with over there, he would always bring food and games and water, just whatever we could come up with. And the kids over there, they don't have anything.
Sure.
And we were never supposed to do it, but these kids, every time we'd pull into the village, 50, 100 kids, and it would be like a parade.
Oh my gosh.
And that was our way of kind of feeling good about ourselves, and such a horrible area of people that are poor, they don't have anything. Back home, again, there were so many programs. My wife took advantage of. They would do stuff at the Mall of America. They sleep with the fish. They would do stuff in the summer at
That's
camps.
a different thing, sleeping with the
Yeah.
fishes. That's
No, it's like a sleepover at the Mall of America.
Okay.
Yeah, and you would, but there's just so many things, people would come cut our grass,
so you feel appreciated?
I did, and I think my wife did, and my kids did. We had such a good support staff though too, and so we were always blessed. I never worried about my family.
Okay.
I never worried back home because. Go ahead.
No, that's just me saying I'm going to talk after you. Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know the.
Yeah.
We
But-
give each other the finger.
But
It's real kind.
I was blessed. I didn't. I could be over there doing my job and know that my family was always taken care of. And
That's nice to know.
Go ahead.
So I thank you. So I just have one question then for you, and that is, what if you were to tell the 5 to 7 people that listen to this podcast,
That's a dirty lie.
what
There's
okay, all right, 10 people listen to the podcast. If you were to sort of suggest to them, guide them, or on some way of showing their kindness beyond the thank you for your service, what would you say? What do you think is appreciated? Yeah, what's appreciated?
I know you always make fun of me because I get a free soda when I'm in uniform at holiday. I mean, but But honestly, and if you talk to most soldiers, they just like the thank you. They just
Do they?
Yeah.
I wondered if they hear it so often, maybe it becomes.
I mean, who doesn't like a thank you?
That's nice to know.
Maybe if it's delivered in a genuine way too,
But-
right? Instead of just like thank you for your service, like holding someone the door, like, but
I mean,
something real genuine.
It gets awkward, thank you for your support is what I always come back with. But
Oh, yeah.
but
Like that.
soldiers like thank you. That's it. They don't need. I mean, we get free meals on Veterans Day, and we get 10% off at here. And
Let's say you're at the donut shop and John Schweitz is in front of you,
Yeah.
or he notices you guys are going to go for the same last fritter.
Is that the one you like, John? Your
Yeah,
favorite one?
what would be
I
expected
thought he
in that
liked just a
situation,
plain
John?
White cake donut.
He does. I just like the white frosted donuts. So what would I do?
Well,
I would honestly.
yeah. What would you do
Here's
if you,
what I would
if
do.
you saw and
If there's a if
Mark
if Mark is behind
Mark
me and
is
he's
behind
got
you in
3
military.
up and 3 down, I'm paying attention.
yeah,
I would probably, just because I have to do this, I'd say, I don't want to start something here. So why don't you tell me what donut you want so I don't take the last one of that?
wouldn't you just maybe buy him a donut, John?
You know what? If
I guess it depends on the situation.
I would like to think that I would, but I probably would be more
What if he says,
concerned
"I
about
want that
saying
last-"
something pithy.
What if he wants the same one you have?
I
you
would let him
want?
have it. I
You
would let
would?
him have
Okay,
it, and then
okay.
I would pout.
why wouldn't
I
we
would
split
go out
it?
in my car.
We would split it.
You know what? That's a really nice idea.
That is so nice.
No, but
Wow.
I would be, all kidding aside, I would be more concerned about wanting to connect with this person and say something funny, and I wouldn't even think about buying him a donut. That's just
You'd want to make him laugh. That's a wonderful gift.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Jeff.
thank you
Jeff,
for that.
Yeah, you
Gift-
know
the
what?
gift
You're
of
getting
laughter.
promoted, senior engineer, right here.
But I will tell you, and it's something we think about a lot when we're in uniform, and we get thank yous, and people buy us lunch. But one thing we always tell people, especially where I work, if there's police officers, firefighters, yes, I've been deployed 3 times, but I work an office job the last 5 years, and I'm always ready to go. And if the call comes, I go. But I look at those people, they're doing it every day.
Mhm.
Every day of the week, and so we always ask people to please take care of our law enforcement, paramedics and firefighters, because they're out beating the streets every day.
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions that I would love to ask, but I'm not going to ask them while we're playing record. So at this point, I just want to thank you for coming in studio, which is super cool.
Yeah, this is great. What a great treat to hear you tell these stories and give us your experience. We really appreciate it. Thanks for bringing them in, Michael.
And
Uncle Mike.
There aren't many guys that do 35 years in the military. I mean, they get their 20 or whatever the number is, and it's like, okay, I'm moving on to my next thing. I mean, that is a special relationship that you have with your country that is just, I admire it beyond belief. I mean, and the fact that you're one of 8, I didn't realize,
That's
you're
pretty
bringing some
cool.
like royalty in here. Come on.
No,
Good.
it's and it's nice for you to give us a perspective, because you always wonder as a civilian what you're thinking. So thank you for sharing your stories on this podcast.
It was my pleasure. I had a ball. This is great.
Well, we're going to hang up now. We're going to say, with that, off we go. Hit the tune.
The
Uh-oh.
odds were 1,000 to 1 easy. What do we get?
We get to go home. Oh, boy. Little Hans Zimmer music there to get your attention.
It's actually 13 hours in Benghazi.
Of course it was. That was John Krasinski.